Alright, I'm done with that. This is a video about something really cool. I'm here in the Link Between Worlds at the Witherjaw entrance, which you can't get in without the key that you get from playing Song of Time at Ancient Enchanter. Watch the Song of Time video and you'll know. So you go in here. If you came from Witherjaw, go down this way. If you came from Itnum's End, you go down that way. If you came from King of Langsville, you go down this way. Basically, go to the freezing caves. Whee! Don't fall down the holes. That's coming. That's something. That's something that's gonna be. Freezing caves, but we're not talking about the freezing caves. We're talking about something else. So when you enter the freezing caves, turn right at the giant crystal and find the well. You'll know it's the well because it's a well. And inside the well is a doorway hatch thingy instead of ice, which it used to be. This is beneath the well. So, we're venturing beneath the well, which is obviously a reference to a mini dungeon in Majora's Mask, and a similar named dungeon in Ocarina of Time. Now, you can probably already hear that this is different than a freezing caves. Freezing caves are very quiet. There's nothing going on. And it's just glacier noises. This is different. I don't know what I have equipped. A sword. How about a bow? Here are the Terminen bow at that. Now, here's where the entrance is. It's different, and you know, it's just like a normal trapdoor. You open it and you go up. Now that I look at it, it looks like you walk right into stone, but it doesn't matter. This is a weird place. In fact, this looks like an upside down well. Whatever. There's a gate, portcullis thingy, that we'll talk about. First thing. Okay. New enemy. Where are you? New enemy. There you are. The stall. You might know them as bubbles. This one is a cold stall, and they drop frost salts and Stalfo's bone meal. They're essentially just floating skulls. But of course, first I should mention that is not part of Relics of Hyrule. That's ridiculous coding I cannot do. That is a result of truly undead. The stalls are skeleton race. They count as skeletons. And right now I have skeletons rising at 80% chance. Do I have any offensive restoration spells that I could throw at them? Great Feather, Healing Touch, Repel Undead. That's something. I get Turn Greater Undead? No. I wonder actually. No, that's Healing Caster. Well, forget you. Yeah. Yeah, they're floating skulls. Go down in one hit, they explode like frost action oxes. And then if you have truly undead, they behave just like skeletons. So whatever you have skeletons set to, the stalls will do the exact same. Now, it's kind of cool because they come at you and they sort of bite you. And the way I made them is I just, I wonder if I have anything to spray at them. So you see, that stuck to nothing. The reason for that is they are actually skeletons, but I just made their bodies invisible. So it's a little bit of a cheat, They're not really floating skulls, but they look enough like floating skulls. So that's the stalls. There's going to be more types of them in Itnamzand. These are cold stalls because it's a cold place. Right, so that's the cold stalls. Beneath the well is pretty basic. It's just sort of a tiny little Imperial dungeon. I might put some more stuff in it, but right now there's a sample of gold dust. And there might be something over here eventually, but right now it's just stalls and stuff. Stall is actually a reference to an old enemy from, which was it? One of the top-down Zeldas back in the day. I think it was Link to the Past. They were just skulls. I wanted to make bubbles for a long time, but the name Bubble does not fit Relics of Hyrule, so I decided to just name them stalls, which makes sense to me. So yeah, as you venture through the freezing caves, you come across that, which I need to fix. Didn't notice that when I fix it. Here's something that's interesting. So I'll let you interpret this. We have a skull here, big skull, one spine, 2 rib cages, 2 big hands, 4 big hands rather, and a whole lot of arm bones, and nothing else. There's also a spine over here. So make of that what you will. We have a jar over here that has something in it, which I will let you find out what it is, and we have a gossip stone. Now, I recently revamped the gossip stone so you can actually interact with them, but you interact with it and it just says this statue's one-eyed gaze pierces into your mind, and no matter how many times you interact with it, it's always the same message. But there is something down here that will change that, which is why instead of 4.6 something blah blah blah, this version is 4.67, because this is a really big, pretty big thing. So there's another stall. There's going to be a few stalls. There's going to be flame stalls. There's cold stalls. I think I might add shock stalls, which isn't canon. But this is a white stall, and I'll let him show you what he does. Yep. The Redeads are not the only ones that can use that. And that was sort of inspired by a bug report. It wasn't really a bug report. It was an unexpected occurrence that somebody reported to me. Sometimes, apparently, skeletons can have the Redead scream. And so I was like, well, what if an enemy actually did have it? And white bubbles were normally just floating skulls that didn't really do much. So I sort of said, well, they need to be more interesting, instead of just, oh, that's different. Yoink. They don't normally have those things. That's just Forgotten Magic being awesome. So I decided, well, white stalls, maybe they could have the Redead scream. I don't think it cheapens the Redeads, because the Redeads, stalls are very weak. They're not very, they're level 1. They're always level 1. You can take stalls down with one hit. Whereas Redeads, they actually fight you. Right, so I was sort of distracted. There's this awesome hole here. You come in the hole, and you come into this chamber. You can go anywhere you want. There's this thing which will become important. I'll talk about this in a moment. Oh God! You're supposed to be different. You're not supposed to do that. Right, that's another new enemy, the Parotamu. which is a reference to an enemy from Link 2, The Adventure of Link. Well, Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link. He's not supposed to walk out of a sarcophagus that... I need to fix him. He's supposed to... That was mean, Parotamo. You'll hear what was supposed to happen. He's just a Stalfos with a helmet. That's pretty much it. And that's pretty much what Parotamo were, traditionally. Then there's this. It's another hero's chest. So there's 2 sets of hero's clothes in here, in case you want to use one for the Kokiri ring or you want to give one to Serana or something. It's perfectly circular, not quite perfectly. Something I found out while I was building this is that for some reason it got off center. I don't know how. But yeah, nearly perfectly circular room, and inside that is a weird looking tower thing. There's not much around it. There's a little thing in there, and somebody was nice enough to build some scaffolding. Now see, you heard the sarcophagus open. What was supposed to happen was you come up here, and the sarcophagus opens, and the Parotamo is pissed because he's protecting that. This thing... I am so happy that I managed to get the Mask of Truth in Relics of Hyrule. It's actually based on the same mesh as the magical shield, and let me tell you, the Mask of Truth was hell. Absolute hell. I'm going to pick it up and explain why. So first of all, you notice it's floating, and I'll explain that in a moment. It was also glowing. So I'm going to put it on. There's the Mask of Truth. It allows the wearer to hear the whispers of gossip stories. And actually the inventory is supposed to look like this, but for some reason it's like that. Put it on. It gives you some light armor protection, but most importantly, you may notice that it doesn't quite fit your face. It actually floats in front of it. It's more prominent when you're wearing a mask like this one. Actually, wow, I didn't know it floated that much in front of elves. It floats in front of elves, apparently. Might need to fix that, but I'm not sure. But yeah, even if for some reason it doesn't work quite right with elves right now, but with like humans, it's right up against your nose. But even then, it's sort of like weird. It doesn't really connect. So I decided, screw it, I'll just have it float in front of your face. And I decided to make it sort of an anti-Majora's Mask. If Majora is the embodiment of mischief, the Mask of Truth would be the embodiment of honesty, or something like that. So it glows just like Majora's Mask, and it has a very particular talent. Now what was supposed to happen was the Parotamo comes whizzing out of his little alcove here, but he didn't because I was exploring, but I'll fix that very soon. Now I come back here. You remember before the Gossip Stone over here he didn't do anything, but when you have the Mask of Truth and you're wearing it, if you're not wearing it, this doesn't work. See? You just get thirsty. No, you don't actually get thirsty. That was a joke. If you're wearing the Mask of Truth, then you get hints. And there are tons of hints. Loads of hints. 4.7 starts with 78 hints, and I'm gonna expand that. There's lore, that's a hint, where to get Din's ruby, where to get the Giant's knife, Nehru's sapphire, mirror shields. There's some lore about Morwidajal. There's some hints about Master Sword. Some hints about the Ocarina of Time. It's just great. It's I'm very proud of how I've revamped the Gossip Stones. And this was just like, I had the script. I had to make a custom script, and it took a lot of trial and error to get the script to work. I had to enlist the help of one of my friends to get the Mask of Truth to work, because I made it and it didn't stick to your face. It just sort of floated in the air and didn't follow you. Unlike this. This is how it's supposed to be. So I got one of my friends to help with that. Because it was a shield, it doesn't have something called a dismember skin partition, which at first I tried to fix that manually, which is ridiculous, and I ended up screwing it up. Got a friend to help. Now that works, finally. And then there were some hubbubs and errors with the textures. There were errors with... what else was there? It was crashing, and I had to change it from a BS fade node to an NI node. You have no idea what I'm talking about. It was just hell making the Mask of Truth work, which is why I am not going to make any more masks unless someone donates them. Pre-made, already working, like the Keaton mask was donated. There's more about the Keaton mask that I'm going to expand in a future stuff. So no more masks unless they can be made from already existing stuff. Like if something used this mesh but with different texture, I could do that. Or something that uses the Dragon Priest mask, I can do that. But I am not going to go through that hell again. Ugh. However, I will make more scripts. This script was actually pretty easy once I fixed it, once I figured out what was wrong. What it does is it actually looks for the Mask of Truth. So if you don't have the Mask of Truth equipped, it'll be like, nope, and then it goes to a different section of the code and just changes variables, and this is what happens. If you have the Mask of Truth, it'll choose a random number between 1 and... currently it's 78, but it's going to change. And it'll dispense that wisdom to you. There's 78, so I'm not going to go through it. And there's more coming, because there's always... the mod is expanding beyond belief. There's actually something in here about stuff that hasn't been made yet. So, that's really great. I'm really proud of how this turned out. And I learned some stuff about scripting, which is helpful. So I'll be able to make some cool, like, custom levers, maybe. I might be able to make more stuff like the Gossip Stone. It's really great. The Mask of Truth update is one of those milestone updates that I'm very proud of. So that's the Freezing Cave, that's the Mask of Truth. Thanks for watching. Go download Relics of Hyrule if you haven't already. There's more awesome stuff like the Mask of Truth to come. This is the first Mask of Truth mod that I know of for Skyrim.
They
So
say if a vampire so much as scratches you, you'll turn into one. That better not be true.
go away. There's more awesome stuff like this coming to Relics of Hyrule. Just keep in touch. I mean, not keep in touch. Keep tuned. I am not coherent right now for some reason. Chicken. That's right, you walk away.